Hello, team. It is, what is it? Tuesday, July 17th, and this is our weekly Lunch and Learn. So I know some of you join live, some of you watch this later, but today, since last week, we spoke a whole lot about belief and how having the proper mindset and the proper belief will bring you success in your business. We then went on to talk a little bit too about customer care. And quite a bit of customer care is related to broken and damaged jewelry, right? So I thought today we could just have a real practical discussion on our guarantee and the overall use and care of our jewelry. Because when we kind of, I feel like sometimes we tend to over-exaggerate the guarantee. And what I mean by that is, just wear it, and if anything happens, you get a new one. And while that's true, it's not really the best use of our use and care policy. And what I mean by that is people don't want to be sending back their jewelry all the time. They want to make a purchase and have it last. And it is our job to educate people as to how to make that happen, right? So it is important during our show that at some point we share with them what the proper use and care of the jewelry is. People do need a reminder that this is not 14 karat gold, that this is not, what you're getting at a jeweler. This is fine fashion jewelry. So, at some point during the show, a lot of times it comes up, if I don't bring it up during the normal part of the show, a lot of times it comes up during the Q&A at the end because people will ask about the guarantee in some of their questions. And then I'm able to say, you know what? Here's the general rule of thumb. Our jewelry, this is fine fashion jewelry. It's not what you're finding in the jewelers. It's not solid 14 karat gold. And so therefore, you're not wearing it in the shower. You're not wearing it to the gym. You're not wearing it all of these places that are going to ruin. You're not swimming in it, okay? So the general rule of thumb is put it on last, take it off first. And I then go on to say, so what I mean by that is when you get ready for the day, you get dressed, you put your perfume on, you do your lotion, you spray your hair, then you put on your jewelry. So it's going on last. I said, and I'll usually hold up something sparkly, and I'll say, now, see how sparkly this is? If you spray your hairspray, think of the big cloud, right, that's now surrounding you. When all of that cloud lands on the jewelry, it now makes it not as sparkly because you've put a coating on it. So we want to avoid putting the coating. Even when you do your perfume, put it higher up on your arms, not just right on your wrist, because all of those chemicals eat at the jewelry. So do you see how I explained there what to do and what not to do in very clear terms in things that women do? They spray their hair wearing their jewelry, and now they say to themselves, oh, she's right, that will put a coating on it. When I'm saying lotions, things like that, sometimes that will even spur the question, so what about washing your hands? And I always say the jewelry does better dry. So the drier you keep your rings, the drier you keep your jewelry, the longer it's going to last. If I know I'm with a whole bunch of nurses or someone brings it up, I will tell them hand sanitizer is the enemy of fashion rings. Because here's what I find happens. When people complain about the quality of the jewelry, it's not because of the quality of the jewelry. The quality of our jewelry is outstanding. Just so that you guys know, any piece of jewelry that experiences a greater than 2% return rate, they discontinue from the next catalog. Period. End of story. So whether that's because they get it back consistently with a crystal fell out, it turned, people just don't seem to like it once they receive it, then that means that they're going to discontinue it. I feel like I personally caused the white unicorn necklace to be discontinued because I sell so many of them, and 100% of the white unicorns that I sold were returned because people didn't like the way they looked. So I took them out of my kit. And of course, I'm way over exaggerating. I only sold a few in the beginning of the season, and I took it out of my kit for that reason. And after that, when people said they want the white, I said, no, you don't. You want the silver. You think you want the white, but what you want is the silver. I would get them the silver. So, people would prefer to be educated on how to wear the jewelry than to get it and do what they think they're allowed to do and constantly have to return it. So if you've been holding back on sharing with people how to better care for their jewelry because you think they're not going to buy it, that's not correct. They will buy it, and they're going to buy it again because they're going to be the person at the next show or a show a year later. I'm in 4 years now at Park Lane. And I've had people come to a show at the 4th year that maybe were at one in the very beginning, and they will say, oh, I've had that since her first party, and it still looks like the day I bought it. You'll occasionally get those older guests that come, and they're like, oh, I can't believe Park Lane is back. I went to shows when I was a newlywed, and I still have a couple of pieces that look great. And this is, of course, fantastic when this happens. But when you do take care of it the right way, the jewelry really does last. And I feel like when people's business starts to slow down, a lot of the reason that, a common thing that people then will say to me as the reason they're quitting is, the quality of the jewelry just isn't good enough. People have returns. There's a few, people may have returns because they weren't educated on how to wear it. People might have returns because, that's an issue, but you notice people's returns more when you're not doing enough business. I have a decent amount of returns, but I have so much more business going in that I have a good perspective of how few of it is going back in relation to how much I'm selling. So when you start to feel like, oh, I don't have enough shows, and look at this, I have to do a return. Really, if you added up all the pieces that you were, returning in relation to how many you sold, it's a teeny tiny number. Sometimes the people that feel like we do a lot of returns come from another company in something that, like, people don't, like, I sold kitchen tools. People aren't as hard on their kitchen tools as they are on their jewelry. People don't go to work and get their kitchen tools stuck on the filing cabinet on their desk and rip it off their neck and break it. The only thing people broke where I used to work was if they dropped their stoneware. That was pretty much the only thing I ever had to return because it's a different category. People are hard on their jewelry. Or some people are, and then that's the problem. So you can almost always turn an experience like this into such a great one for the customer. One of the things that I always say to a customer that needs to make an exchange for something broken is I say, thank you so much for bringing this to my attention and letting me handle this for you. Okay, so thank you so much for bringing this to my attention so that I can handle this for you. Because the last thing in the world I want is somebody with broken stuff to tell all their other friends they have broken stuff. Because what happens is she turns into the show guest who comes to one show, right? And she makes a big purchase. She comes to Susan's party, she buys a whole bunch of stuff, and you're like, man, she's a great customer. Now Beth books. And mysteriously, that guest doesn't come to Beth's show. And you're like, oh man, I wonder why she didn't come. And it may be that she didn't come because her stuff was broken. And now she's not going to come back to the next show. Whereas if we had done a customer care call, or if she remembered, oh, she told me to let her know if anything breaks, or I don't remember what the return policy is, but I remember she said there was one. Let me get in touch with the girl. Even if they can just remember that little part, that there is a return policy, let me get in touch with the girl who sold it to me. Then we can handle it and we can make them happy. Belinda Barrett one time had a customer, she had several broken things, and they were from a while back, like almost a year. And Belinda said, you know what? I'm going to come over and I'm going to make this right. Because some of the things were discontinued. Some of them were out of the 4 months and were going to be the $7. And the girl was all mad. So Belinda went over with her whole kit. And Belinda was not leaving that appointment until this girl was happy, whether she had to give her jewelry out of her kit, whether she was going to handle the mailing back for her, whatever it took. And sure enough, Belinda did a little of everything. She had some things that the girl had right from her kit. She said, you can take this brand new sample. I want you to have it today. Stuff that was discontinued, she, even if she used her rich rewards, I don't know what she did, but she handled the exchanges. The girl placed another $200 order with her right there on the spot, and she booked a show. Now, Belinda could have said, well, it's after the amount of time. You're going to have to pay $7. Or, oh, you don't have your receipt. That's discontinued. Sorry. That's not the way to handle it. We have so much opportunity to replace jewelry, even using rich rewards if we have to. If we just let them take something from the kit, who cares? A happy customer tells a whole lot more people. An unhappy customer actually tells more people than a happy one. So we need to keep those grouchy girls off of social media. Before they post on the Park Lane Facebook page about, do you see how some of those, comments on the social media page on like Park Lane's main page? Every one of those complaints is because the consultant is not doing right by that person. The stylist is not handling that person's return. So let's not let that be our team. We are going to check in on people. We're going to educate them on how to properly use their jewelry. And when they don't, we're going to do an appointment and we're going to make them happy. And you will have continued business from it. When Belinda told me she got an over $200 order and booked a show, I said, of course you did. Because she knew. Belinda even says at her shows, not only does Park Lane guarantee the jewelry, I personally guarantee it. I am your stylist, and I will always take care of any issue that you have. And she means it from her heart. And that's why people go back to her time and time again. Her customers are loyal to her when she has an event. When she falls and breaks her leg and puts out, hey, I need orders to finish earning my trip, they come through. She takes care of them, and they take care of her. And that's part of being a business owner. So that was really just the short and sweet of today's messaging, because I feel like when we educate the guests on how to use and enjoy their jewelry, they will enjoy it. That's it, because that's what we want people to do. Enjoy wearing the jewelry. We want them to put it on and enjoy how pretty they look and enjoy getting the compliments and enjoy when they look in the mirror and liking what they see in return. And that's what we're able to do when we take care of them and they feel happy with the purchase that they made. And then that's when they come back again and again and again. So does anyone have a question? All right, well, this was a summer short and sweet lunch and learn. Hope this was helpful. I'm going to post the recording for those that either came on late or are watching later. And I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday, if not before. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.